Good morning, Rabbi Sal. We're going to start today with some interesting shilas that I'd like to mention over the next couple of days. We've got some crazy shilas, interesting shilas that the Olam have been posing, the Olam have been asking, emails have been coming through, and I want to tell the Olam some of the shilas I'd like to deal with in this specific inyan that we're going to be discussing, Be'ezras Hashem, today. So let's start with a couple of shilas. Shilah number one, and I hope Be'ezras Hashem we get to all of them. Excuse me if we don't get to all of them, but the point is to get to all of them. Today we're going to go introduction. Tomorrow we'll go right into the sugya. So number one, question number one, Rabbi Isai. I deal with selling second-hand cars. And people give me their cars. I then, fix them up, whatever has to be fixed up inside, make sure it's working well. I then sell it on to someone else at a profit. Great business, okay? Here's the question. Am I allowed to spray the car, right? Beautifully sprayed. So when I give it to someone, or when I sell it to someone, or when they come to look at it, it looks like a gorgeous brand new car. Is that mutter to do, or is that not mutter to do? Question number one. Question number two. Somebody comes into my store, and I make a sign. Special sale today. Today there's a sale price. How much is the price? The price is $50. What was it yesterday pre-sale? $50. But when I put a sale on it, so then it's like geschmack. Somebody here, I think Zev told me that on one of the, I'm not sure if it was Black Friday or one of these things where they have all the sales, and somebody went around, I'm allowed to say this on camera, somebody went around Target, and they, in the sale Black Friday, they took the label off and they saw behind was exactly the same price as the sale price, right? Is that mutter or is that osa to make somebody feel good? Look, sale price today. Special deal for you, Ben, $50. What was it yesterday for everyone else? $50. Is that mutter or is that osa? Next question, Rabbi Isai. What if, for example, I'm going into the bank to meet with the bank manager to get a very, very important loan that I need for my business. I need to borrow a lot of money. I need to go to the bank manager. I need to have a good impression. So I borrow my neighbor's Rolex watch and I put it on. And of course, when I'm sitting by the bank manager, I had to extend my hand a few times to make sure that he sees the Rolex watch. And when you flash a Rolex watch, then he's like, oh, this guy, okay, he could probably afford it, and therefore, I'm going to lend him the money. Is that mutter to do that, or is that not mutter to do that? For example, another case, Rabbi Isai, Shiloh after Shiloh. Somebody comes into your office. You want to make a good impression. He's a new client. He can make a lot of money for your company. What's the din? You got a beautiful, expensive, really rare bottle of wine. And you say to your customer, you're here today? I'm going to open up this bottle of wine for you. Just for you. And he feels like a million. Wow, you're opening up this bottle of wine. You know how expensive and rare that is? That's amazing. Little does he know that the company that you bought it from said that they're willing to give you a good deal on it if you buy a bunch, but you need to give an answer within the next 4 hours. So you need to open it up anyway, but you're making him feel good, and he's all excited that you open up the bottle of wine for him. Is that mutter or is that not? Somebody asked me this shaila here in Eretz Yisrael that's very common in various shuls and yeshivas. They sell cookies and cakes in packages, and you put it in a basket, you put a pushka there, people buy it, whatever it may be. So this guy asks me the following shaila. He says to me, you could buy a spray. And this spray you conceal somewhere hidden, and it sprays a freshly baked smell. So anybody that walks there, oh, that smells really, someone's baking fresh cookies. Look at that, there's a basket of cookies over there. I've got to buy one. This is geschmack. Are you allowed to do that? Many coffee shops in America have these sprays. When you walk in there, you think you're smelling fresh coffee. You're not smelling fresh coffee. You're smelling a spray that they put in. So Rabbi said, this is the shaila of Geneivas Daas. The sugya that we're going to be learning is the sugya of Geneivas Daas. It is a massive sugya. It's an important sugya, and it's a very negaya sugya. By the way, not only is it negaya to businesses, which is of course what we're trying to concentrate on now, but it's also negaya to you everyday life. Let's take, for example, a shayla like this, right? A boy asks me, he went on a shidduch number one. He knows there's no shayla. This is not negaya to me. It's not happening. It's not for me. Different pages, different directions. This girl's not for me. However, the shadchan said, if you say no now, it's going to cause a tsar and pain and it's not nice and this, that and the other. Just go out another time. Now normally they persuade you to go out another time because you never know. This wasn't the case. This was not a havamina of maybe. It's not negeya. But he's going out another time just to make her feel better, whatever it may be. Is that mutter because I'm doing it to make her feel good, or is it Geneivas Daas that she thinks another date, I get another opportunity with this guy? Or take another example. I happened to be in Lakewood this afternoon, and I remembered to myself, one of my shaykh's neighbor is making up chasna in Lakewood, and I never would have gone. I live in Brooklyn, whatever it may be. I'm not traveling to Lakewood just to go to his chasna, right? But I'm anyway in Lakewood, so I'm going to pop in. I walk into the chasna, the guy's like, wow, you came all the way to Lakewood for my chasna, that's amazing. What are you going to say then? Well, actually, I didn't. I happened to be here, but I'm just coming in anyway. Is that called Geneivas Daas? Are you stealing people's mind? So Rabbi say, those are all of the shilas. The last few I'm not going to get to, maybe I'll mention them. But I really want to get to some of the business shilas, because this is very negeya. When you own a business, when you do business with people, there's often shilas of Geneivas Daas. What is the din with Geneivas Daas? How does it work? So today, Poshet, a little bit of an introduction, and then tomorrow we'll delve into the sugya with the Rishonim and Achronim to understand a bit more of where it comes from and maybe some of their terim. So we'll start like this. The Yosef Oimetz brings the Reishis Chochma. The Reishis Chochma says, and I want to read you the Lashon. Hagoinev das habrias kegoinev das elyon. That means, Zug the Reishis Chochma, when a person steals a person's mind, right, Geneivas Daas, says the Reishis Chochma, he's stealing from the Rabbeinu Shalom. There's a Mordika Tosefta in Baba Kama Perik Gimel, where the Tosefta says, Shiva Ganovim Heim. There are 7 types of people that steal. V'rishoin Shebakulon. And the first one on the list, Goinev Das Abrius. Someone that steals people's minds, that takes away what they're thinking. Rabbeinu Yonah in Shari Tshuva, in Shar Gimel, goes ba'arichas to explain how terrible and how chomer the issa of Geneivas Daas is when you do it to other people. So where does it come from? Where's the makar? Let's have a look at the makar in Chazal, in Shas, and then we can try to get some direction to when is it going to be mutter and when is it going to be yasa. So it all really starts with the Mishnah in Chulin. The Mishnah in Chulin is in Tzadik Gimel Amud Beis, where the Mishnah says, Sholeach Odom Yerech La'oivik Kechavim. A person is allowed to send a piece of flesh, a piece of meat, a yerech, a thigh, to a goy. Right? Interestingly enough, by the way, it applies to goyim also, which we'll discuss. Maybe we'll get some time for that, which is very negated by businesses. It's not only by Yidden, it's also by goyim, and that's the Mishnah Ba'etzem talking about that. It's talking about sending a piece of flesh, piece of meat to a goy, shegid hanosha b'soicha, that the gid hanosha is in there, which is okay for a goy. A goy is allowed to eat a gid hanosha, it's not a problem, but a yid obviously is not. You could see where it comes from, and therefore you know, as a yid, if you would see that piece, you recognize that it's got the gid hanosha. So Rashi says, by the way, straight away, what's the shayla gid hanosha, goy, what's shaychus? So Rashi says, we're not worried that the goy is going to sell it on to a yid, and the yid's going to eat it and think that it's got the Gid HaNosha is out. He's going to know that there's a Gid HaNosha there. He's going to know to take it out, to remove it. Okay, fine. Let's not get sugya in the Gid HaNosha sugya. That's basically what that's what the Mishnah says, and that's what the Mishnah means. Now, let's continue with the Gemara. The Gemara says in Daf Tzadi Daled Amud Aleph in Chulin. Where does this come from? The Gemara says, where's the problem over here? So the Gemara says, Kesova Yisrael oyavoy ma'oid v'nimtza machzik toiva b'chinam. Says Rashi, explaining in the Gemara, that Rashi explains that what's the problem? The problem over here is, where's the Geneivas Daas, right? Because the Lashon of the Gemara over here is, Osa lignoiv das habriyos, va'afilu daito shel oivik kechavim. By the way, it's often the Gemara. The Gemara says you're not allowed to do Geneivas Daas, even to a goy. Where's the sugya of Geneivas Daas coming from the Mishnah? The answer is, Rashi, is that the goy says, wow, thank you so much. You went through the tircha of removing the Gid HaNosha, which is not a simple procedure. You removed it for me to make it easier for me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Lashon of Rashi again, Rabbi said, very important. Kasova Yisrael oyavoy. He thinks the Yid loves him, ma'oid, a lot. V'nimtza machzik toiva b'chinam. And therefore he's machzik toiva for him. I owe you something. Thank you for doing that for me. And therefore, because you did that for me, I owe you, the Yid, something. Memela, that is considered to be over here, Geneivas Daas. So Rashi over here is explaining, we'll see Tosfos maybe tomorrow, but Rashi learns the sugya of Geneivas Daas means that when someone thinks you're doing something for him, he's machzik toiva, Rashi says many, many times, and therefore because of that he feels indebted to you. He owes you something because you did something for him. Memela, you didn't do that, that wasn't really the case. That's Geneivas Daas. That's considered to be Geneivas Daas. Now if you look at the Shulchan Aruch in Choshen Mishpat Siman Reish Chav Ches Sivov, he makes mamish the same thing. Shulchan Aruch says it's as if when you do a tova to someone and he thinks you did a tova, but really you did not do a tova for him. Says the Shulchan Aruch, that's considered to be Geneivas Daas. I'll read you the lashon of the Sefer Hasidim and the Heilige Pele Yoetz that says, brings down like this: Shahamarbe chiba yisera lechaveiro ve'ein piv ve'liboy shavim. That means your mouth and your heart are not equal in the sense that it looks like you're doing a favor for someone, but really inside in the heart, you know that's not the case. Zuk the Pele Yoetz, Zuk the Sefer Hasidim, that's called Geneivas Daas. So we're dealing over here with something specifically in that case. Now, the Gemara continues and says, what if you open up, our case, what if you open up a barrel of wine for someone, right? Showing how chashuv he is. I'm opening up this barrel of wine for you, which, by the way, in the days of Chazal, it wasn't a bottle, it was a barrel. Once you open up the barrel, you haven't got long to finish it. If you don't finish it, everything goes sour. It's bad. So you're talking about a big risk, and he thinks, wow, you're opening up the barrel of wine just for me? That's amazing. So the Gemara seems to say that if you open up a chovis, a barrel for someone, and even though you're not doing it for him, you need to finish it anyway, therefore that is considered to be lahachzik toiva b'chinam. He thinks, wow, that's amazing, thank you so much for doing it for me, I owe you now something. He'll do a lot of business with you, who knows what can happen because of that, and that would be a shaila of Geneivas Daas. So we haven't got much time to continue, but I want to tell you there are many heterim, and once we understand the geder of the Issa, we'll be able to, Be'ez Hashem, go back to all of the shilas that we mentioned just before, and one by one, hopefully try to mention them, go through them, see when it's Nageya. Join us tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem.